Welcome to The Know. I'm Ashley Jenkins.
I'm Mika Burton.
Some Nintendo Switches have been out in the wild for less than a week now. Hasn't been long, but media's going crazy. There's already a problem, and it could be a pretty significant one depending on how you choose to play the Switch.
The controversy first broke out a couple of days ago when some review sites started to notice that their Joy-Cons were having some connectivity issues. More than one reported that, when the Joy-Cons were detached, the left would desync, causing some input lag.
So the problem is apparently the loss of signal between a Joy-Con and the Switch unit itself. But nobody knows whether the signal loss is due to interference from other sources or if it's just being blocked by other things in the way. It's still kind of fuzzy.
And weirdly, it mostly seems to be happening just to the left Joy-Con.
It's because it's blue, isn't it?
It's also because it's left shark. So
Yeah.
they've synced up together.
Does whatever it wants.
Eurogamer theorized that we're hearing a lot about the left Joy-Con because lots of people are playing through early copies of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and that game makes you use the left control stick to direct Link. Also, it should be noted that this only seems to happen when the Joy-Cons are detached and used separately rather than plugged into the grip together.
Still, this issue has spread across the internet like a wildfire, with some wondering if the Switch already has an Achilles heel even before it's officially released.
So here's how Polygon summed up the problem. The biggest current issue with the Switch is one of basic reliability. Over the course of my time with Breath of the Wild, I had repeated problems with the left Joy-Con controller partially or even completely losing sync from the Switch console while docked and connected to my television. This is a pain in the ass at best, but has also resulted in several deaths playing Breath of the Wild.
But it wasn't just Polygon, there have been a lot of other Me Too's popping up since then.
Jason Schreier from Kotaku tweeted, "Yep, my left Joy-Con desynchronizes as I'm playing. Gonna be a big problem if they can't fix this with a firmware update."
Jose Otero from IGN noted the same thing. He tweeted, basically input is delayed on the left Joy-Con for a very short window, maybe 2 to 3 seconds. Reminded me of the PS3 controller sync issue.
The issue was outlined pretty extensively in a video from Game Explain, which showed the reviewer covering up part of the left Joy-Con with his hand, causing it to desync, in some cases pretty severely.
Alright, so you say, why is this a big deal? Well, for one, the Joy-Cons are a huge part of the Switch. They're very important, and that matters. While there are other options like the Pro Controller, the Joy-Cons are the only controllers that come packaged with the Switch, and they're used in nearly all the Switch's configurations. So if one of them isn't working properly, that's potentially a big problem. After all, no controller, no game.
You got a point there. Interestingly, Polygon notes that while the Joy-Cons from either side of the Switch can be used as standalone controllers, the two are not the same hardware. Each is connected to the system in a specific way, and the right Joy-Con includes the hardware for the Amiibo use, as well as the IR camera that can sense the distance from your hand, and so on and so forth. So maybe there's something specific to the left Joy-Con that's causing the issue, we're not sure.
Also, not everyone has noticed this issue. Polygon said that its own Switch in its New York office hasn't had any desyncing issue, and we've been using it a ton, her productivity has been way down. And we haven't had any issues with it. We've had, 10 different people playing it with no desyncing. So it's not everywhere, and I think that's important because hysteria can get a little bit loud.
Yes, especially on the internet.
Right, but it is happening, and that's important to acknowledge as well.
Meanwhile, both Eurogamer and Digital Foundry said that their Switches haven't experienced the issue either, and Digital Foundry is pretty well known for digging into hardware issues and really just letting you know.
Okay, but let's say this is true and one of those Joy-Cons is having a connectivity issue. How big a deal is this for Nintendo? Well, if it affects a significant number of Switches, it could definitely be a headache for them, especially when you consider the time and energy that Nintendo is pouring into this launch to try and make it a success. A hardware issue is the last thing they need, even if it's a minor one.
Still, there might be a relatively easy fix for the issue. This might just require a boost in signal strength from the Switch to the controllers, and if that's the case, it can easily be addressed with a firmware update.
Yeah, time will tell how major this issue is, whether or not it will turn people off when it comes to buying a Switch, and if everyone's just gonna have to get their blue ones replaced by Nintendo. It can happen. And of course, this will be more important to some people than it will be to other people. Some people totally willing to give them a pass. NeoGAF poster Krakatoa said, "I'm willing to give Nintendo the benefit of the doubt the sync issue will be fixed with the day one update. If not, I'll return the system until this shit's sorted out."
Well, there you go. Polygon reached out to Nintendo rep for a comment, and the rep said that the company is looking into the issue.
Right, so what do you think of the Joy-Con issue? Would this be enough to keep you from buying a Switch, or no big deal because you're probably gonna use it either as part of the system or with the Joy-Con dock most of the time? Let us know what you're gonna do with it in the comments.
And for all your news about the Nintendo Switch and the antics of its cute little controllers, be sure to like this video and subscribe to The Know.
They just start lighting themselves on fire and we're like, oh, aren't you cute?
Aren't you precious? Little bonfire. Break out some marshmallows.
Expensive little bonfire.
Oh my god, they're so $80 little bonfire. Just leave me alone. Just let me die here.
Puddles of blood.
Puddles of blood.